You talked about being humble. That's certainly humbling in itself, because now you have to sort of pick up and start over again and go out and get, try and get another Group 1 horse that you can partner with and, go through the ranks again. How do you feel now that he's gone, and how are you looking, what are your plans for this coming season? What are you looking forward to this season?
Yeah, I just try to get as much support, as much good horses that I can, and ride well every day, every race. That's our main goal. That's my main goal. And of course, the outcome is a bonus, but just work hard and do well in the moment is more important than the outcome for me. But of course, to get winners it's very important, for us.
Absolutely.
So,
and also after last year, you had that injury. Obviously, you had the fall, and you had a lot of rehab.
Yeah.
You had to go through a lot. I remember talking to
Yeah.
you a couple of times on the phone. You were in Switzerland, I believe.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit, about, if you're comfortable talking about it, about the fall, what your thoughts were, and did you feel that you could come back and fully recover and accomplish what you've accomplished since?
Yeah, well, last season when I ride in Japan during the summer, it was only I think it was my second meeting. And I was riding on a dirt, and the horse, apprentice couldn't control his horse and pushed another guy, and another guy pushed my horse, and my horse fell. Fell with me, and I was unconscious for about 10 minutes.
On the track?
Yeah, I was only conscious when I was back in the ambulance and on the way to the hospital. And I know that's and I woke up screaming because it is in pain, and then, but I still luckily remember everything. I didn't forgot what happened.
Right.
So, and I feel my body, and it's just the spine was hurting, the ribs was hurting, shoulder, arms, everything was hurting.
So you knew in the moment it was serious?
Yeah, but I know at least I'm, my brain is functioning, so okay, that's, at least.
That's a bonus.
Yeah, but I already felt my spine and that, but I can feel all my nerve, finger, and feet, everything. It's feeling okay, only painful. So.
Which is actually a good sign.
Yeah,
because you're not paralyzed.
Bit of relief. But after in Japan, it wasn't easy because with the language problem, and luckily the club flew me back. I think it was a week or 10 days after, or 2 weeks. I can't remember now. And then I have, proper, better treatment here. Mm-hmm. And then one of my friends introduced me to do rehab in Switzerland. And, I know amongst sports, rehab and all that, they had a long history. And of course, I would say they're a little bit more advanced than us, because, they have started way earlier than Hong Kong. And Hong Kong is still catching up. So I went there, and it definitely helped and speed up my rehab process. And then come back. I think I only missed the first week of the season here.
That's right. Yeah, I remember that.
And then I can, keep on riding. So not until January I had a very similar fall on the dirt here.
Yes.
And this time I was conscious, so it's okay. But I felt my neck is in problem. So I have 4 vertebrae that was fractured on my neck.
Wow.
And my finger was broken, need surgery. But my neck luckily it was stable fracture.
Right.
So I just need time to let it heal. doing rehab and not losing my fitness too much at the same time, which I can still cycle on a stationary bike.
I followed some of
so-
your protocol. It was quite interesting, actually.
Yeah, so a lot of things I can still work on, and I went to Switzerland again for about 2 weeks for more training and more other rehab stuff, which also helped. But this time took me a bit longer than the Japan fall.
Right.
The Japan fall is probably my second time that was serious amongst all my injury. First one was in Sha-Tin, 2011, I think, when I was still an apprentice, and the second time was Japan. And at that time, of course, as an athlete, we all want to come back racing as soon as possible, but your body is actually not allowing you because it actually need time to heal. So your mind and your body is, contradicting, and you mentally is, rushing yourself, and it's quite a lot of pressure on myself.
Internal pressure.
Internal. So it was quite tough, seeing sports psychology and all that, which they are experienced with athletes. That also helped. Even in Switzerland, those programs, they have everything for me. So mentally, I felt better after the Switzerland trip with all the rehab, to have confidence with my body again. And
trusting it again.
Yeah, and to ride again. And the second time, learn from the first time.
Right.
And my mind was, ease off a bit.
Okay,
this
so
time.
you were easier on yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, after you've had these falls, was a part of you afraid? And I don't mean afraid like because you get back on and you ride, but psychologically, were you a little bit more cautious?
Yeah, at some races I do, but not now.
No.
Yeah,
sure.
it was probably the first 2 months after the injury. The first injury, actually not. The one after Japan, I come back normal, like completely fine. It's only the second injury. The second injury got me hesitated a little bit for, at least good 2 months. But afterwards, with all the helps with the sports psych and working on myself and all that, it become easier and become normal again.
That's great.
Yeah.
One last question regarding accidents and healing. Now, your family obviously watch you racing.
Yeah.
That must have been terrifying, because I've been in situations where people I've loved have had accidents. Your mom must have been like just freaking out. Like your family must have. So tell me a little bit about, like, does that cross your mind at all when you fall? Like, do you think about your partner and your family, or is it just like, is that something that comes into your head when you actually had an accident?
I think the first one in Japan, when I was in the hospital, that definitely hit me a little bit. It's more for the family,
Right.
Because of course they rely on me a lot for the family, and who knows what will happen in this sport. I was lucky, very lucky to get away from that in January. But that definitely come in mind. That I was lucky my partner was there in Japan to help me everything. If she is not there, it's gonna be a big problem. And because my parents in Hong Kong, they can't just fly over, and at least she is there to manage everything and help me Google Translate with the nurses and all that.
Absolutely, yes.
That's the difficult part.
Yeah.
And the second fall also. So I mean, from the first fall, you get to learn to, don't be too selfish, and you know, sometimes no matter how hard or, you know, how much or how successful you are, sometimes you have to ease off and let yourself enjoy life a little bit. You know, I should enjoy more even riding.
Okay.
And, you know, whatever hobby I have, you know, sometimes maybe I should also enjoy it, you know, instead of skipping my interest because of this or that. Sometimes I should actually, you know, enjoy a little bit more my hobby or what I like to do with my family, or, you know, with my dogs, or with, you know, when Golden 60 was here, you know, I should, you know, do things that I like more, you know, treasure life a little bit more every day, you know, be happy every day. That's what I learned from all these injuries, that you know, it could have cost my life, you know.
Absolutely.
And sometimes, you know, you can spend a little bit more to travel, or, you know, get something for yourself to enjoy a little bit, and to, you know, to get more experience in life a little bit more.
Because I think that's really that's such a great thing you just said, because and I'm glad that other people are going to be listening to this, especially the younger generation coming up who are going to be riders and the apprentices. I think that's such amazing advice, really.
Yeah.
And the fact that you've learned from all of this, and you're continuing to learn, and you're continuing to grow, because we're always learning, even as we get older. Life will always teach us something, right?
Exactly.
So thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate that.
You know, from the fall, even setbacks or whatever, there's always something positive you can get out. And I always tend to think that way, instead of, you know, pulling myself in you know, I have lose some winners because of my, you know, even a Group 1 ride because of that. And you know, try to be positive and what I can learn from that, instead of, you know, pulling me downwards, you know. So
that's fantastic, Vince. Really, that's really good advice, I think, as well, for people. So thank you for that.